Hey, yo, what's up, YouTube, man? It's your boy, Ashton Jackson. And in today's video, man, we're going to be talking about the Dallas Cowboys versus New York Jets game. And it's a big win for the Dallas Cowboys. I'll talk about that after the intro. Plus, we had a little bit of transactions ahead of this matchup in terms of players being put on IR and us having to elevate some players for this game. So before we hop into the video, I would appreciate if you guys would like the video, subscribe if you're new, comment, and share my video with anyone who you think will enjoy my content. Right now, the transactions that the Dallas Cowboys did choose to make ahead of this matchup is they did decide to put Malik Hooker on IR, meaning that he will miss the next 4 games. Because I did have a video not a couple of days ago, or I want to say around Wednesday, discussing how, about the injury report, players who were on the injury report who did not practice, and Malik Hooker was one of them. We understood that he did suffer an injury in the second half of that game versus the Green Bay Packers. We didn't know the severity of the injury. We did see that he had a boot on going in practice. So now we figure out he's going to be put on IR. So with that being said, since they put Malik Hooker on IR, they're going to elevate undrafted rookie Elijah Clark. And that was the player that we did give the Dallas Cowboys gave the most undrafted money to, which was Elijah Clark. So the Dallas Cowboys did like him a lot coming out of Syracuse. So he's going to be signed to the active roster. So I believe your 2 starting safeties are going to be Wanye Thomas and it's going to be Donovan Wilson. Elijah Clark is going to take Wanye Thomas's spot in terms of being put on special teams. So he's going to be the backup to Wanye. That's Elijah Clark. So, your 4 safety rotations are going to be, Wanye, Donovan, Marquise Bell, and then now Elijah Clark. So those are going to be your safety room right there. And then also, with the injury report, which I'm going to discuss in a little bit, but Cavante Turpin is going to be out in today's game with the foot injury. So they're going to bring up wide receiver Jalen Brooks and wide receiver Jalen Marino Cropper to the active game day roster. Most of those guys are, again, Jalen Cropper is going to be your special teams guy. So is Jalen Brooks. So, and also wide receiver depth as well. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see who's going to be that quick motion guy. Hopefully it's a guy like Jaden Blue, that fast speed element that we add to our offense. Hopefully that is that, because we are activating Jaden Blue to the active roster. Now we're going over the injury report. Now, if you look at the injury report, Michael Carter, their DB, is going to be out in today's matchup. And then you got Jermaine Johnson, who is questionable. He didn't practice all Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. We'll probably find out on game day whether or not Jermaine Johnson is going to be playing. That's one of their edges right there. One of their backup running backs is dealing with a hamstring. He didn't practice all of practice at all either. Mason Taylor, he was dealing with an ankle injury, but he was a full participant on Friday's practice. That was pretty much it worth of note for the Jets. They don't really have a lengthy injury report like how we do. Trayvon Diggs and Deron Bland, they're going to be playing in today's matchup, but we have 5 guys out ahead of tomorrow's matchup. We got both Tyler Booker and Guyton both going to be out. Malik Hooker, we discussed, is going to be out. CeeDee Lamb out. Cavante Turpin is going to be out. Guys like Kalen Carson and Jonathan Mingo, they're not going to play. They're still going to be on the 21-day practice window. So it's going to be a little bit until we see their return. Guys are listed as questionable, like Marshawn Nealon, Kenneth Murray, Miles Sanders, Tyler Smith. Those are more than likely going to be guys that are going to be game day decisions, and we're not going to find out until tomorrow morning, about at least an hour or 2 before kickoff, whether or not those guys are going to be playing. But, we need all these guys to really play. That's what the thing that sucks about this game is that if you really just look at this game as a totality, right, you're 1-2-1 as it currently stands, and you're going up against the 0-4 Jets. Both teams are really desperate for a win, and I think the more desperate team, in your opinion, is the New York Jets, with a new head coach, a new coaching staff, and everything of that nature, right? You're going to be playing a team that's more desperate, but I feel like the Dallas Cowboys are just as desperate as the New York Jets, in my opinion. I feel like if you're the Dallas Cowboys and you cannot get a win that does not come down to the wire because the Jets are putting up 30-plus points in, tomorrow's matchup. If you lose tomorrow, basically your season is over. Why I say that is because if you're 1-3-1 versus a hopeless Jets and the Jets put up another 30-plus points on your defense and your offense has to come and save the day and they just quite can't do it because the Jets have the ball last and they get a last-second touchdown or whatever the case, a last-second field goal to win the game, it's going to be very hard because you're going to be 1-3-1, and then you got to play the Carolina Panthers. And if you can't stop the Jets from scoring, what makes you think you're going to go out and stop Bryce Young? Not saying they've been lights out or anything like that for the Panthers, but what makes you think you're going to stop Tedero McMillan, Chuba Hubbard if he's healthy, or even Rico Dowdle in his revenge game, whatever the case might be? I think you're going to have a tough game. If you lose this week, you have to win this game because if you don't, you're going to be looking for draft season. And we're going to be discussing draft very soon and very early on this channel. I'm still going to talk about the NFL regardless, but we're going to probably start talking about draft and having some mock drafts posted or whatever the case might be. But everyone think I'm capping, everyone thinks I'm lying or getting ahead of myself. No, if we don't take care of business, that's what it's going to look like. So, talking about the game. Number one, defensively, this is where it stops and ends right here. Everyone has to step up and everyone has to come in with the mindset that we're not going to get picked on. And you just have to bring, as a man, you have to say defensively, we have to stop to where we cannot be the reason why that this team is always in a tough spot. But as a team and as a player on this team, you have to say, man, I need to stop wanting to get pushed over, man. We have to put an end to it. And hopefully that the defense comes in with that mindset that we're not going to be picked on. The number two thing that we have to do from a defensive standpoint is we have to contain Justin Fields. If you don't contain Justin Fields, he will beat you with his legs. We've seen that when we played against them October of 2022 when he was with the Chicago Bears. Justin Fields is a really good quarterback in my opinion. No, is he a great thrower of the football? No. But he's a damn good athlete, and he's somebody that can really hurt you with his legs. And he's somebody that can beat you from the pocket. But I would rather, if we lose a game because he plays like Aaron Rodgers or he plays like, a prime Russell Wilson, then it just shows how bad our defense is and what we need to be looking forward to with our top 10 pick of our own. Now, of course, not the Packers, but now we're going to start looking for the draft and seeing what players we can get to bring in here to fix this defense, right? Third, we have to double Garrett Wilson. He is their most dynamic player. So let's make sure that we always, again, who knows what's going to happen on Sunday, what the communication is going to be, how everybody's going to play, how everyone's going to feel. But we need to double Garrett Wilson. If Garrett Wilson is that guy like Malik Neighbors, like Romeo Doubs, name the receiver that went off against us in the past 3 weeks, we cannot allow that to happen with Garrett Wilson because we know that that is their only. You got that, Breece Hall, in my opinion, are their two most explosive weapons that they have offensively, but we definitely need to contain Garrett Wilson. But also, don't sleep on Mason Taylor. Again, watching his tape when he was at LSU, he's a damn good tight end in my opinion. You don't sleep on him, but Garrett Wilson is the main vocal guy, right? Next, we got to tackle Breece Hall. There was a bunch of times in last week's Sunday night matchup where there were swing passes being set out to whether it was their backup running back in Green Bay, Emmanuel Wilson, or whether it was Josh Jacobs, their starting running back, and you were not able to tackle them. You were not able to tackle them once they got past the line of scrimmage and once they got a full head of steam in the receiving game. You just had a tough time tackling those guys. Tackle Breece Hall. He's their most dynamic runner outside of Justin Fields, and you do not want to get Breece Hall going in today's matchup, and you don't want them running all over you. Offensively, man, we got to run the ball. And let's try and slow this game down to help out your defense. One thing that can help out a bad defense is a really good offense, and an offense that is self-aware of what their team is and understand where their deficiencies are. Run the ball and slow this game down, man. This is going to have to be a 20-17 game. If the defense can allow under 20 points, that would be a godsend. But it has to be one of those 30-27 type of games, 27-24 type of games for us to win this game. If you just look at your offensive line, we don't know if Tyler Smith is going to play. I'm in the mindset that Tyler Smith is not going to play. Who knows? They'll do whatever it takes for his ankle to be good. Shoot up some Novocaine. I don't know what type of great NFL medicine they got over there, but they have it. But if he's not ready to go, I'm coming with the mindset that we just have four out of your 5 starting offensive linemen are just going to be all backups and replacements. So we're going to be dealing with that, right? Second thing that we have to do from an offensive standpoint is we have to protect the ball. You can put that number 1, but we have to protect the ball. And also by protecting the ball, not giving it to the other team like a turnover, a sack, pick, fumble, whatever the case might be. We always have to be in Brandon Aubrey's field goal range. We always have to leave this game. We always have to leave with some sort of points. 3 is better than nothing or giving the ball back to the opposing offense. So let's make sure that we are protecting the ball, not giving short fields, but let's also make sure that it always ends in a Brandon Aubrey kick in tomorrow's matchup. Offensively, in terms of the receiving game standpoint, we already know who the vocal point has to be, and it has to be George Pickens. You have to get him going early and often in this game. It was really good that we got him going in last week's game. I had no problem at all, but it took to that middle of the second quarter, late until halftime, and then from that second half, he just went nuclear, right? But if we attack George Pickens and got him going, I believe in the first quarter, maybe we have a little bit of a different outcome, but I understand what the Dallas Cowboys were trying to do. They wanted to lean on the Packers to slow down that pass rush, so that's why later in the game they can attack them. I understand that part a lot. But I felt like, again, you can't sleep on Quinnen Williams, and Will McDonald, those guys that they have. They still have really solid defensive lines. No, it's not what it used to be. This Jets defense isn't what it used to be 2-3 years ago. It's a completely different brand of football in which they're playing, but they have a lot of guys hurt. They don't have that same defense like they had a couple of years ago, right? This is a defense I feel like you can attack. Then also, man, let's get Jaden Blue the ball. Let's get him involved. Don't activate him just to put him on special teams and just have him in the backfield, just to have him in the backfield on obvious passing downs. Let's make sure that we get Jaden Blue involved in the run game. Let's get him out on the perimeter. Let's get him out on some outside zone runs, something to where he can utilize his speed. Shoot, put him at wide receiver, put him in the slot, put him on some Devontae Turpin type of routes, on end arounds, or we don't even need to put him on end arounds. Just put him in the backfield if you want to give him the ball. Get him on screen routes, whatever the case might be. Utilize Jaden Blue. Obviously, get the ball out quick versus the Jets. This game is a must-win. I already talked about it before. If you lose this game, draft season will be here early, and everyone thinks I'm playing. But if you can't beat the 0-4 Jets, or if you win this game, like I said, like how you won that New York Giants game, I have no confidence, because again, if you're allowing 30+ points by the Jets, who they have guys that can put up points, but this isn't an elite offense. But if you let it happen, that's what's going to happen. I made a point to let's end this game in regulation, man. I don't want to play extra. I don't want this team to play extra quarters, because if you do, you're going to increase the chance of injuries. But injuries is part of the game, so there's not much you can really do about that. And last but not least, let's limit the penalties offensively, defensively, and special teams. So that's about it for the video. Hope you guys have a nice day. Stay safe, stay blessed. Bye.